option in the end to leave Nuke in there potentially to get that instead of Dust2 as the decider, which I think probably would have made a little bit more sense. Instead, if it gets over towards that third map, it's Dust2, a map that Sprout play quite a bit more, that they have a better record on as well. So it'll be a little bit awkward if we do get that far, but I still think that these first two maps, Ancient and Inferno, while they might for me favour Sprout a small bit, they could both be very competitive.
They could be indeed, and we are jumping straight into the action here on Ancient. Jerry picking himself up the dual Berettas. Decent amount of utility as well. Couple of HEs, smokes, flashes picked up by the CT side as, oh, they've misread this. They've made the wrong call. They're starting to rotate away right as the hit comes in. Jerry, blind as a bat. Nothing he can do as Spinny finds a clean headshot. And as they start to wrap the lane, the HE not quite going to connect. You could see the idea. Execution just not there, though, and it's a straight execution. 3 from Spinny. Yet to be put down as the rest of the CTs, there's really nothing they can do. Faven with another smoke to refresh that as the plant comes through. Zorti's trying to spam through the smoke, and he will find one. Keeps it competitive in the 2-on-3. But again, at this point, do they really want to be giving this a go? Kenzie's found another headshot to make it viable. But with no kit, that bomb ticking away, they're running out of opportunities. And they're going to start to look at backing away, start to look at saving indeed. 2 sets of armor on 2 full HP players. Keep a hold of that, give you something to buy into the next round. That's some beautiful utility by Sprout to open up B.
Yeah, and the start that they needed, and it's Spiddy as well who comes in with all of those kills that they end up claiming. It's a really good kind of showing coming in early on from the man with the most experience, you've got to say, on the lineup. He's been in pretty decent form just in general. We got to alongside Retro, I believe I was there on the last day getting to cover Sprout over in Premier. And it really does seem like they're starting to gel a lot together. We were even chatting the Slacks afterwards. He was saying that he feels a lot more comfortable. We had kind of brought it up to him that it looks like the current 5-man is gelling a little bit better in terms of him being able to reach that form that we had seen from him back in the day, especially on the likes of alternate attack. And he was saying that himself. He hadn't always felt as comfortable with them constantly chopping and changing the lineup. But it seems like now this 5-man, he fits in well. One thing of note, though, is that Rals hasn't been playing all that fantastic. So I feel like they've still got another level to drag out of him because he was super impressive when they first added him.
Another quick hit into the B side coming through. Utility to isolate the fights. Faven with a clean headshot onto Norway. They have left a man, a couple in fact, in towards the cave. Problem is, for now, completely smoked out of the situation. Jerry's going to go on top of the boxes, see if he can maybe catch the man off guard. A nice nade off the plant, but again, the bomb's already gone down. The after-plant positions are here. Jerry doing what he can will find at least one. Second batch of utility will keep them away from it again, though, and they're absolutely now pinned in towards this cave. Spinny looking to farm away on that 10. Good damage done. Zorti, though, trying to keep it competitive once more. Another big headshot. They're making these expensive at the very least. The force spy not looking like it's going to come through with the round, but taking a handful of rifles away, keeping a handful of their own. Jerry just lurking around late to see if maybe he can get some chip damage alongside the bomb. The Slacks takes him out of the fight again. forZe going for this 3-man save. Players up with some kind of firepower as Sprout. Again, just straight exec. There's nothing particularly pretty, nothing particularly clever about it. They're just execing full force into that B bomb site. And at the moment, forZe don't have the firepower or the utility to compete.
Yeah, we didn't really expect them to in that one, in fairness. A mass at least being carried through. They'll have a couple of pistols behind a nade there as well. Actually have just a little bit of utility, and I'd like to see maybe a bit of a stack alongside this now to actually give them a bit of a chance to do something. And that's exactly what they're delivering. They're going to bring it in towards A mostly. Kenzie's happy enough to get his FAMAS up close and personal in towards Dona, hoping if someone creeps through, they'll be able to maybe snatch up 1 or 2. For now, Sprout, just focus in on that mid control. They have the favorable weapons. They know they're not going to be up against too much. They're kind of just probing about, hoping with these nades even that they'll be able to force someone forward and with that maybe shed the blood in their favor initially. They've got that early man though outside B, so I definitely do want to see them move back in this direction at some point. They won't be aware of the stack, but we definitely are. We can see it on the radar, and it looks like they've come to the right decision. They put the nades down in on mid. They've made a little bit of noise, which might even keep that A stack in place just a small bit longer, and it should give them plenty of time to start getting this bomb down and to position themselves. It would probably be worthwhile though for forZe to maybe get a couple exits out of this one. They don't have a ton to lose.
I'd expect to see them at least competing. They're going for the late mid retake. Flashbang gives them the free map control. Spiddy will hear it. His footsteps coming in as well. Spotted and dealt with though. Zorti looking very crispy this morning. 3-0, in fact, at the moment, as the Deagle finds yet another connection. They're going to try and move Shalfie over the top of the boxes, and Zorti, okay, hello. He's not done just yet, continuing to find purchase with that Deagle, tapping away on the Galil. Jerry will find a third, and suddenly this gets awkward again. Another round that should have been nothing with the bomb halfway gone. No kit. They're going to have to get a shift on. Some frags desperately required. Henson gets another out of nowhere. Raz is left on his own, and he's got 4. He's got the ace on the spray down. Raz up against the half by. He saves Sprout their blushes in a major way. That round never should have been viable. And Zorti's Deagle very nearly gets it over the line for forZe. Yeah, take that timeout, Sprout.
Okay, yeah, I said in terms of who's been performing for Sprout recently that Ralls hasn't been quite given what he's capable of, because he had been, when he first stepped in, one of the best performers on the team. But, well, there you go. Shows what he's able to do on that rifle. The clutch to spray down the 3-0 lead for Sprout that really should have been theirs anyway. But it was definitely getting a little bit too dangerous for them, so it was needed to bring them over the line in the end. We do still see the pause, though. Was that from Sprout there? I would probably presume so after it being such a close round. Yeah, sorry, I was too busy talking. Sometimes I forget to look at those little details, Wolfie. But, yeah, I mean, it definitely shouldn't have been that close. Obviously, they still had the money to reinvest after a relatively clean second round, but it's given a really good chance over the forZe. If they can crack through right now, they'll completely break that economy, and they'll likely then have a second round coming off the back of it.
Done a fantastic job for us, just keeping things expensive, brutally so, in fact, for Sprout. Look over at the economy. Near enough broke to get this reinvestment. Zorti currently posting 4 and 1, despite being 0 and 3 down. AWP in hand allows him a little extra firepower as Spitty starts to flirt with the idea of going through that smoke. Jerry on the other end, just starting to back out. Timing should be good for Sprout here. They continue just to pester over towards this B site. A little bit of wallbang damage. Seeing if they can just chip away at the CT side as now the double Molotovs. Cave take starts to come in. Jerry will be the first issue posted. That's a rough corner for Spitty to clear. He's aware of it. Swings wide and straight takes his head off Slacks. The pick, meanwhile, onto Shalfie. Actually in towards mid. Will be traded at the very least, but will be looking isolated on this B site. Does very well to isolate Spitty and find the first. Flashed up, trying to hold on to the site for all he's worth. Doing a good job, but Key's wallbang will finally put him down. 2 on 3 on this retake, and Key continues to read it. He's not seen a CT player yet. He's got 2 kills to his name. Zorti now 1v3 clutch to contend with. Faven up close and personal will be the first problem, and he cannot get rid of it. Sprout post their 4th. A little bit of a response, a solid one at that as well. They've looked very shaky in their opening rounds, but starting to find their feet a little bit now.
Yeah, they needed the kind of make up for that previous round there as well, but it is kind of heartbreaking for forZe, you've got to say, after doing such a good job in that round before, to now not really have a chance to capitalize on it, and unless they're again able to cause considerable damage here, then Sprout likely will be starting to build up a pretty decent economy for themselves, I'd imagine, off the back of this one. Again, though, I mean, there wasn't really too much invested a couple of rounds back when it came down to Ralls being needed to clutch it out, obviously, so I don't really want to completely count them out here. They're rocking a few nades as well, or a little bit of utility in general, a flash of HE, a couple of smokes there. And again, have made the decision to go for a bit of an A stack. This time, though, it might actually pay off for them. You've got pretty much everyone grouped in behind A main. And even with this smoke down, they're considering maybe even still taking a bit of a challenge around this. So I don't know if that's too much of a good idea. Small bit of nade damage. I mean, it's not too considerable, but even the damage down to 81 there on Faven will be useful for those Deagles and the MP9. So we'll have to see what the eventual plan is here for Sprout, because for now they've got a start to plus and they're waiting. And, well, they will receive a bit of a crazy play, I've got to say, by Kenzie.
Zorti there with the immediate response. However, as always, that Deagle continuing to connect. The problem is Sprout have given up the B control. At this point, Norby's pushing through lane. He knows full well that this has to be the A-side hit, so the stack will just stay posted on this tight angle. Jerry, the first man to receive him. Nice spray down, grabs 2. Slacks on the AWP, can't respond. He's taken out the teammate, but he's stuck, and the flying MP9 will do more work. Raz left in the 1v2. He's dealt with the flanker, but Zorti's still alive on site with that Deagle. Jerry picking up an AK as well. This fire absolutely lethal, and Zorti even more so, continuing to find effect from that Deagle. The half by the scrappy investment gets it done for forZe. The MP9s and Deagles stacked over towards that A site, find their connections. And it absolutely breaks Sprout as well. No real money to work with.
The Hood's having a little bit of a rave. I love it. Between the bit at the top there that was popping up and down and the logo's having a flash. But yeah, I mean, forZe do actually get themselves onto the board there, thankfully. Do so in relatively clean fashion as well. Not enough to really secure their economy to withstand the round loss, but as we had said, the damage had actually been pretty good at least. So Sprout's economy, while they'll probably go for a buy here, will still be lacking in terms of the weapons on most of those players. Just to confirm, we are currently, unfortunately, sitting on a technical pause here from forZe, so they're having a little bit of an issue. Not too sure exactly what it is. Hopefully, though, something that's not going to take too long to be cleaned up so we can get back into things. And I think we got confirmed that there was a timeout I missed on who exactly it was.
The coach.
The coach time now. Okay. So, I mean, that's always unfortunate. It shouldn't take too long. We get them back in and then they're ready to go. At least the players aren't gone. That's kind of the main thing. In that case, at least they can use this time of the pause to, I guess, kind of have a little bit of a chat about what they're doing.
I mean, looking at this buy that Sprout are going to be pulling out, this is looking ugly. I mean, faveN gets his hands on an AK. There's a Galil for Key, but the Eagles for everyone else. And forZe just taking heads. There really hasn't been anything particularly snazzy or clever or inventive from the CT side gameplay so far. It's just been point Zorti at someone with a gun and let him get 2-3 kills around. I mean, 7-2 at the moment, looking very, very crispy. Just need someone else to step up, I think, and forZe are going to be looking very, very solid indeed. You've got Jerry on 5-4, but Norway, Shalfie, Kenzie struggling to have impact in those half buys, struggling to get too much out of the Deagles. If they can have some impact as these rifles start to come out, start to find some consistency over on that CT side. I know Ancient considered somewhat CT-sided, but it's starting to really lean back now. You can see T-side starting to get the hang of it. We're seeing from Sprout, you got that double molly take in towards Lamps or Jaguar, depending on what you want to call it. Still haven't worked out what the exact name is for that. You've got the early mollies. forZe are actually great at it. Haven't seen them have the utility to use that opportunity yet, but you get a molly down on those B doors. You get a molly outside of the Jaguar Lamps area. Then you start throwing HGs over the top. You're chipping away at the players that are there and making it all easier for those wall bangs to connect. And these are the sort of adjustments that we're seeing now. Ancient is coming of age, so to speak. It's starting to feel much more balanced, at least to me, and it's starting to feel like both teams have got a decent eye in for how to play it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you're seeing I just guess, as you were kind of explaining out in general, a bit of a more methodical approach at points to that T side, and it kind of just develops over time. Makes things more interesting. We do have the information rather that the coach is back into the team speak now, so that means that you should be reconnected in and we should be able to get things going pretty soon. Again, though, I don't think either team will be too worried about a couple of minutes of pause here, especially Sprout, who are coming in with a pretty weak buy. They'll want to be trying something a little bit different here. I don't think they'll be playing out a default too much, although they do have a pretty decent amount of utility. I mean, they're not lacking too much on that front. It'd be slightly better since they've only got like a couple of mollies, I believe, but we're actually getting a quick restart either way. Didn't think that'd be needed, if I'm being honest, since we had it was only the coach who actually dropped out, but there probably was some sort of an issue. Sometimes when you spawn in, I think it ends up spawning the actual coach initially, right? So that was probably why. Either way, looks like everything's being done. Quick match medic done, and that pause should be taken off any second now as all the guns are bought back up.
Shout out to the admin team for getting that one done very quickly. Lovely and smooth sailing from the match medic there, as we will get back into the action shortly. The buy comes through, of course, exactly the same. Galil, AK, handful of Deagles for Sprout. forZe looking far more solid. M4A1s and an AK on the ground for Jerry. Zorti, of course, will get his hands on the big angry green gun. We'll have to see what kind of impact he can have with it. I'd like to see Sprout side try something a little bit quicker here. Maybe heading in towards that mid-control early, trying to put some pressure on. Feels like the way they're going to have to break down this forZe defense. Instead, it's going to be 4 over towards B. faveN lurking. In fact, it's not faveN. The HUD's got it wrong. It's line to B. Fast B hit coming in the meanwhile, though. Zorti on the AWP, flashed off his first angle of choice. He's starting to head his way up. They're going to swing this 2 and hope to trade. Key finds it for free, though. The AWP not quite able to connect, and this is the problem now for the CT side. They've lost that B site. Bomb has gone down in the 4-on-5 retake. Ral, yes, he's spammed down low, but he's still alive inside of the site. forZe, they've got to try and use this utility to get into it now. Starting to retake the lanes. Max missing the first shot, but Eagles trying to gang up. The trade's not great for them, however. Spitty will have to back out outside of the B doors. Look to hold on as Shalfie and Kenzie are headed right into him. Timing going to be everything. Smoke, in fact, completely locks him out of it. And now Ra's looking a little isolated on this site. He's got the AWP on the crossfire. They need to find the connection, though. Ra's does well for one, but it's not quite enough. Will be traded down. He's bought the time. And Sprout, with little to no real investment, will be able to get their hands on a fifth.
Very surprised they didn't clear that back corner right there, though. That's not a position that normally gets overlooked so easily. I mean, they knew that Spitty obviously was back down towards those doors, but there still had to have been a player somewhere around the bomb site, whether it was in that back corner there or in the back lines. Either way, it does go the way of Sprout, leaving us with a 5-1 scoreline now. forZe not able to actually capitalise off that round win. They still have a pretty decent economy, thankfully. It's kind of weird noise there. I don't know if that was just me.
I don't question it. I hear the weird noise. I just ignore it. Don't acknowledge it. Spitty straight out of mid, though. Able to find one. Kenzie with the response, but that's left the A site wide open. They know that that's the A anchor traditionally. So Kenzie now in towards Donut with a lot of heavy lifting to do. Does well to find the first. We'll have to back off as a result, though. And with the flank coming in towards mid, this starts to get very messy for the CT side. Man advantage at least for now, but Slacks is here to try and cut the rotation. Should have a free fight, and indeed he does. Norway taken down early. And again, the CT side so spread. You can see Jerry very cautious retaking mid, aware that Slacks was lurking. Has to play it a little slower. Only just starting to hook up with the friend and Kenzie now. And Zorti going to be a little cheeky with the smoke, but Key is ready for it, all too aware of what was going on. Sprout's experience on Ancient really starting to shine through here as, again, Kenzie and Jerry going to be forced to try and save these rifles. The pain continues to mount. This T-side from Sprout looking absolutely fantastic. Jerry with the consolation kill. And Sprout, who post up their 6th round and look very, very solid while doing so. They seem to have a really nice grasp on how to force those CT rotations.
Yeah, well, I mean, just charging out mid there for Spitty in the beginning definitely is pretty helpful, rather to put that early pressure on and pulled that player in deeper towards Donut, which obviously left the bomb site very, very exposed, then letting them move on towards it and just kind of trade things out. Great round from Sprout, as you were saying, and while I thought it was a possibility, we could maybe see a little bit more of one-sided action like this in general coming through. I honestly wasn't really expecting it too much. Sprout have been on the rise, yeah, they've been coming back into form, but it's still relatively early days in this roster, so I thought maybe things would be a little bit more competitive here, but right now, forZe, they're missing a little bit, I've got to be honest, rather. Pause, though, this time, not a technical, it is one just called through for the team to have a little bit of a chat and see what's going wrong exactly. And, well, they need it because all of the money's put through to obviously ensure that they have their buy here and now. If Sprout take this, already going up 7-1 on the T side of Ancient, they'll be likely heading away with the half win at that point already also. So it just can't be let happen here. forZe need to go ahead and pick up the game. And, well, Slacks, nice little molly in towards mid. Gonna stop anyone from pushing in from Donut. Well, a smoke over towards Sniper's Nest as well. It'll give Sprout the opportunity to take some pretty straightforward control. And they've even done some pretty good damage there with that nade on towards Jerry. So it's not great here in the beginning for forZe.
I've got the lane control for the first time, though, the CT side. Problem is, Sprout have just said, fine, we'll give it to you, we'll go somewhere else. They're going to head in towards Snipers. Kenzie toying with death. That Molotov not going to spread far enough, and that might well give him an opportunity. They're not going to clear his corner here. He looks for it. Raz will be able to trade. The MAC-10 able to grab the second. Should have really gone the other way round, but there we are. And now they'll look to pincer in. The A side, Zorti playing in towards Temple. A lot to do here. Spots out and deals with one, but again, it's only the 1-for-1. Quickly traded. Shalfie rotating in. Is actually going to catch Slacks, trying to put that bomb down for another. A little bit of chaos in the ranks gives forZe a real opportunity here. That bomb dropped in an awkward spot. Will be recovered by Spitty. But again, still got to get it down. Leaving Favon isolated. Will manage to do so. Shalfie's still playing gaps in the smoke. Should be able to spot Spitty out. The timing going to be everything. Spitty blinded up, though, finds another. And now Favon left in the 1v2. Knows where Shalfie is and will deal with him. Limited info on the last. Doesn't spot Jerry on the first swing. But the damage could be everything here. Unconfirmed nade damage as he looks to swing the angle. Favon spots him out. Bomb planted well for him. Jerry tries to tap it out again. Can't quite find it. Trying to isolate this fight, and he'll find the headshot. Must-win round for forZe. They needed something from their CT side, and Jerry delivers.
Damn, that was nasty. It was basically just the one bullet needed to the body for Favon as well, but the patience just didn't bother showing himself, waited that few extra seconds, and again, the peak from Favin goes towards him instead. Well played, a desperately needed second round as well. But they do only end up living with the one player. On the other hand, the bomb goes down for Sprout. Rals haven't got the Mach 10 kill there in the previous round as well. Basically funds his Galil. So it's a decent enough buy for Sprout. One at least that is going to importantly keep the pressure on forZe and not let things get easy for them here by any means. Should still be able to at least show a competitive round. The molly's over though. We're going to make things very difficult in towards the lane. Favin pretty much forced forward as his teammate calls in for assistance. But for now, Key just still pretty much trapped in. They should be aware of the fact, though, that there's someone around here. They see the smoke in where that molly had been. And I think with Favin having been so desperate to push through the smoke, they should be kind of aware of the fact that there must have been a reason for this, and indeed they are. So hold in the corner. And I don't know how he gets away with that one kill, honestly. That's an absolute miracle. It won't be enough for really much in the round to be done, I don't believe. But it gave them a bit of hope, maybe in a situation where it shouldn't have existed. But look at the health of these three remaining players.
Everybody's been tagged down. Slack's lucky to be alive. That 401S should have had the kill in towards mid. Instead, another 3-on-4. Little bit of utility to work with. Just the one smoke, one flash, one molly. Slack's boosted up to try and give himself an angle, but nobody to peek it. Kenzie happy to hunker down in towards Donut. Should have heard that drop as well. Start to call the reinforcements into place. Zorti will join him. Interestingly, off the back of that, Sprout will back out of it. Making a little bit of noise. Accidentally decide that they want nothing more to do with it. Instead, going to loop all the way back around. And the timing on this is going to be everything. Shalfie starting to clear out mid. Leaves a slightly isolated Norway over towards B. At the moment, solo in towards Cave. With 14 seconds left, if he can deny the bomb, he's won the round. And it's going to be simple as that. In fact, Sprout not interested at all. I thought they were going to have a poke out towards that B site without a frag in sight, though. They're happy just to bail out of the situation. Make it the save. forZe post their third CT round. And honestly, even with this recent streak, pressure's still very much on them. You're looking at the stats for forZe. They're roughly a 60-40 split on Ancient in favor of that CT side. So in need of a lot more rounds than this.
Oh yeah, for sure. They definitely need to keep this up, but it's been a pretty good turnaround, I've got to say. That round right there, keeping 4 alive. It doesn't really let them build up too much money in the reserve, to be honest, as they end up spending a pretty decent chunk on just getting the full set of nades back out on everyone. But either way, it puts them in a decent position here. Manage to take this round, they'll fracture the economy of Sprout, they'll have a chance to bring it up towards 5, and who knows, maybe even 9 could still be available if they're able to really start pulling things back. Slacks, though, boosted up to try and peek in towards B, and at least rather that was the initial plan. They've noticed, I believe, the aggression coming in from mid, so being a bit more cautious of that. Here we go, posted up a player in the back lines there. That is Shalfie, who, if he shows himself, could fit for a little bit of trouble. Flash over, though. The teamwork being utilized there just to ensure that the off would actually find anything on this early pick. And instead, it is going to force Sprout in towards Lamps, where Jerry was actually playing pretty aggressively and ends up, unfortunately, handing his M4 over to the T's, who, well, up until this point, obviously, were working with pretty limited weaponry. Now they've got that extra rifle in play. They've still got well over a minute on the clock as well. So it seems like they're happy to slow things down for a moment and see if forZe start feeling that pressure and decide maybe that they want to go forward themselves. Oh no, he's burning.
Oh, he's got him. Key with the second critical kill, and now Shalfie going to be mollied out as well. 12 HP to work with. He's going to be relying on the support lines. Key's wallbang very nearly connects. Shalfie does well to even get one. And now Zorti with all the pressure in the world on his shoulders. Bomb is dropped in his sights, but he backs away from it. And Sprout will start to make their way onto this site, starting to creep up. 30 seconds left on the clock. Zorti and Kenzie to try and lock it down. They're both stuck in the back line. Spiddy's flank won't work, though. Zorti aware of it for the first, and Kenzie chimes in. That's bomb. Dropped at the feet of the 2 CTs. Kenzie comes in with another, and Slacks is left. A 1v2 to clutch with 15 seconds left on the clock. He will be able to get that bomb. Taps it once to try and bait the peak. They're both looking in his direction. He hits the first. Bomb still time for plant. He will be able to punch those digits in. Zorti knows where he is. He's got him pinned in. Trying to bait the shot is Slacks with the shoulder peaks, but it won't work. Zorti far too mature for that. Aware of the risk, hits the shot as Slacks looks to retreat towards the ramp. And, well, he'll buy forZe their 4th round. Keeps them afloat, but it's getting very expensive every single time.
Wow. That first shot there from Zorti was just nasty on the player coming in behind. If he doesn't get that, they obviously have no chance at all of even starting the move in for this retake. And in the end, is able to get the final kill as well as kicking things off for the retake. So good work. 4th round, as you said. Again, I mean, one player living, definitely not ideal. At least it is the op player if you're looking for a small positive from the situation. But yeah, it doesn't really let them build up any sort of economy. So they want to do that now as it looks like they finally get to go up against an eco here from Sprout. More pauses, though. I mean, both of these teams being pretty liberal with their pauses so far. We've only got the one remaining after this for Sprout in terms of tacticals. We also had the technical earlier for forZe. So it's a lot considered we're only just 10 rounds in. But it shows you, I guess, how serious both of these teams are going to be taking this, and in general, how serious all the teams are just going to be taking it, because it has that one spot towards Anaheim, but Anaheim then I believe has a qualifying spot into the EPL Conference Season 16, which itself has 6 spots for Pro League. So it's a while to get there, but there is a lot on the line if you look at it that way.
Long old road, but yeah, plenty to be fighting for. Sprout will go down to the half by again, handful of Deagles, one Galil. But he stays posted in that molly a little too long for my liking, as Faven trying to be with it, will get away with it as well. He knows Zorti's angle. Looking to hunt down this second kill. Zorti actually completely stuck in towards long. Faven now going to bypass him, but Shalfie's there to back his man up. The force ship just starts to stabilize. Norway in on the flank, continues to find damage. Ral's only good for the one. It's expensive, sure, but it's around, and a critical one at that for forZe. Starting to stabilize that CT side out. 5 on the board, 3 players kept up. A little bit of an economic building opportunity. Sprout will have their AKs once again, and Faven, of course, brought the Galil into the last. He's going to be forced to do the same again here.
Yeah, I don't think it'll be too picky. I think a little decent enough is a decent enough weapon, and in fairness, since they don't have a great economy, and you can get a couple of nades behind it there. So we'll have to see how that shapes up, whether it will be a hindrance in the end. What the hell? That is crazy from Norvey. It looks like it was almost necessary because Jerry was also pushing in through lamps, but I think once that molly goes down, maybe you consider cancelling the play entirely. Either way, though, it works out for a 1-1 initially. Shalfie is low on health, but Jerry stepping through is going to catch the timing on Key to go ahead and put the man advantage back in forZe's favour. And with a second player still pressuring up the ramp right now, being Faven, he could be in a little bit of trouble himself as well. Doesn't want to get taken out here and allow for things to really start spiraling out of control. And, well, he actually makes it work. He's going to just play a bit of a gap there between the two smokes, I believe. A little bit of a one-way that works out for him. Ral's ready to peek in as well, as there's going to be one player left in the back of the bomb site itself, being Zorte. This time he's not able to get anything done, and he had actually traded the up over to Shalfie, who posted up on the angle, just doesn't get a chance to do anything. The molly lands perfectly with his 1 health and burns him to a crisp. It's all Kenzie, and I think he might want that up just to back away.
Exactly, the call grabs it and runs. Sprout again, able to get a little cheeky. That smoke from Key, I'm like 95% sure that didn't go where he intended it to. It looked like he was trying to line up a smoke for the cave entrance, and then instead it bounces off the pillar, comes back, gets him killed, but then gives Faven the perfect one-way between that and a CT smoke to take out Jerry. I don't know. I mean, it's some 2000 IQ stuff from Sprout if that's what they intended to do, but regardless, Kenzie will be able to save the agency. Sprout will have their 7th, and Faven on the late hunt's going to get it. Just to make it that little more painful, the economy, again, an immediate break for forZe. They haven't had any opportunity to stabilize things on the CT side. Ral's a lovely clean headshot. That molly, that's so tilting for Shalfie. Just knowing you're on 1 HP, anything will do. First tick of the molly will take you. And at this point, opportunity to go with the lead at the half for Sprout would be huge.
Yeah, I think initially we were expecting it probably a lot more, but considering the recovery that forZe kind of begun to have there, still going to be pretty impressive for Sprout getting up towards the even 9. I think it'd be a half they could be pretty comfortable with. Either way, this round is not really one where forZe are expected to challenge. They've got 2 P250s, that's going to be it. Whether that USP is, it looks like 1 P250 already's in trouble. Okay, Shalfie is kind of thankful there that the player who threw the molly and didn't stick around to wait and see what happened off the back of it. He is, at least for now, able to hang on to his life. Other than the wall bank, never mind. I was going to say they're just on that default, really, with the focus towards B, as has been the case in most rounds. But we haven't really seen too much of that wall bang action yet.
That's such a nasty wall bang as well. It, like, tanks none of the damage. It's essentially just a clear wall, and then you 2 clean headshots, job done.
Yeah.
Up against the half buy. They are going to run into the stack, so maybe an opportunity for these pistols to do something as the nades just continue to play. The boost spotted out. The AKs looking like they will reign supreme in this one. Handful of pistols still close to the fight. Could find a couple of dinks. Maybe take a couple of these rifles away to make it expensive, as Rals will get the bomb down on the fading smoke. 2 USPs and a P250. It's not ideal, but making the most of a bad situation would be good here for forZe. Jerry spotted out as he does dink down Fathom, but Rals again just tanking things over towards this B site. 2 quick kills. Looking for the finishing touches. kenzie trying to do what he can, trying to find that dinked up Fathom, but he won't. Rals again capitalizing. 15 and 7 at the moment. You were saying he's one of the players who's been a little bit slow. And yes, these frags are eco frags, but he's been locking out this B site.
Yeah, I mean, it's been their over the kind of stretch since they've added up Key. He has been their lowest rated player, but in fairness, I don't think anyone else has been playing bad by any means. So it's not like it's him underperforming in an underperforming team. He seems to be doing his role pretty well, and here on Ancient is kind of just slapping people. I'm wondering if Ancient is just a really good map for him, because when I'm thinking back, one of the first maps I think I recall seeing him on was Ancient, where he played really well also, so maybe this is a map that he just kind of gets going on. Definitely it is the case right now, as you said, being 15 and 7. Far up double the next teammate. Oh, it's going to be a little bit awkward as they move in towards Ado. Zorte happy enough on the rifle rather than that AWP. Still able to pop off 2 heads as they move through a main. And with the lurker elsewhere of Key only being good for the 1 kill before he falls, it's going to leave Sprout in a very awkward spot now in this 2-on-4. Slacks is hoping that the flank can come true, and well, he should be able to get himself into a decent position here. It is being watched by Shalfie, so he'll just have to win out this duel pretty much. It will signal that they're coming, although he's actually made a pass with pretty spectacular time and might catch Zorte. There's the first kill, the second on the Shalfie going to be found as well. And if they can find Norby in on the bot side, I was going to say it's going to be open for the taking, but no, he holds strong. Favin doesn't clear that back corner, and Slacks with low health just isn't really able to do any more about it. He gave it his best shot in that round. It's going to be a 6th round for forZe, and if they can get up towards 7, I've got to say, it'd be a fantastic half considering what was a 6-1 initially.
Certainly a solid recovery. That second headshot from Slacks as well, looking nasty. Just not quite able to clear Norway out of the backlines. If they did, free site, free plant, and probably another round, but an opportunity to keep that lead as narrow as possible for Sprout. Slacks is going to post into the volley. Not quite able to connect his initial shot. Jerry looking to pile the pressure onto mid, has actually left Cave entirely. We'll be able to call this spot clear though. Useful for the team to start making those early rotations as Sprout with heavy lane presence. Spitty thinking about the timing. It's going to be there for him as well. Oh, Jerry, just as he turns. Thought he'd got the better of the opposition. Instead, Spitty swings late. Opens things up. Takes the mid control away from forZe utterly and entirely. Shalfie has to rotate into the B site to support. And as Sprout start to queue up, they've got the utility to lock this one out as well. Smokes for those cave players to escape. A couple boosted on the ramp as well. Shafi's going to try and flash in Norway. See if maybe he can get something instead. Fathom rips his head clean off. And now with that smoke going down, there's nothing Norway can do about this. kenzie will be able to take out at least the lurker, but the B site utterly given up as Sprout make their way in. A little bit of chip damage. Molotov's going as well. Ra's actually going to stick the plant inside of it. Goes down to 26, but he gets it done. And at this point, this retake into the B site becomes so treacherous. You can see kenzie still aware that there might be someone in mid. Only just starting to make his way around to join his team now. That bomb already nearly halfway ticked. Favin tucks himself in close. Key playing in towards the cave. Will be smoked out of this initial fight. Favin needs an early kill in. And as they swing the close down, Norway with the freebie through the smoke, their damage is not enough. Braz has to push the issue, and Norway's ready for it. That's now in the 1v3, can only find the first. The defuse will come through by the narrowest of leads. Sprout will take it 8-7 as we head into the half-timer. We'll have to see after the break if they can keep it going.
All right, everyone, we are back, and as the half went on, so were forZe. They had a bit of a rougher start, going down pretty heavily in the initial moments. I believe 6-1, able to bring it up to the 7 at the halftime, and if they can get this pistol round, especially Wolfie, then you've got to say that they're on track to maybe even put in a steal here on the first map, guys.
They want to ride it as
very
well.
fast.
3 isolated and quickly taken away. favN and Key combining beautifully with the flashbang, and now through the smoke, more connection. The initial setup from Sprout so damn solid, and the flashes continue to do work. Norway left 1v5 out of nowhere. As he backs off behind the doors, he's hoping to bait Sprout into him, and with this aggression, he may well get his opportunity. Key and favN just charging into that lane, utterly fearless with the USPs. You saw the initial setup. A HE goes over the top, chips away at a couple players in the lane, then the flashbang comes through. Key and favN swing as 2. So even if there's a player there who's not blinded up, it's all too easy for the second to trade away. And as a result, they get 2-3 kills in quick succession. The entire round setup from forZe is just derailed immediately. There's nothing you can do about that. They try and scramble up that ramp, but again, the secondary flashes are almost as good as the primary. And as a result, without even a bomb plant, this force buy starts to look very rough for forZe. They'll be down onto the Deagles, handful of flashes and smokes to try and plan away and execute, but the buy from Sprout so damn solid again. 2 M4s, 2 MP9s, a FAMAS somewhere in the middle, and decent utility across the board.
What a 4K from favN just in general there. The last one as well, another little bit of a bait and switch setup for them to get that one done. Yeah, forZe, I mean, obviously in on the full buy here, definitely want to be making this work. If they don't want things kind of having the ability to get out of control as they did back on that first half as well. Lining up some wall bangs. Going to be landing for now. I think he was in trouble himself there if he didn't step back away from the counter spam at a Deagle. But in the meantime, Key peeking in is going to actually find one on that MP9. So first blood will eventually be shed in favor of Sprout, and well, he's not really going to let up on the gas at all. Decides to push forward again down the ramp. Gets punished pretty easily there as a nice Deagle shot does land, and Jerry in a prolonged battle against Slacks that he somehow gets away from with the MP9 here for himself. Only landed the 1 bullet to the body, unfortunately, so it's not going to be a ton of damage, and especially now as Kenzie goes down, I'm not really fancying their chances of getting anything done anymore. But we'll see if maybe one more kill can even be found. If Jerry can get something with this MP9 to add a little bit of money to the bank and just make it a slightly more costly round for Sprout, while finding a couple positives for themselves at the same time. Trying to send the bomb actually over to A. This will be interesting because if Jerry can get a kill or so with this MP9, there's only favN then on the bomb site. And if he even just gets pulled away for a moment and turns his back, that Deagle could get things done to get a bomb plant.
That would be ideal at this point for forZe. Jerry's toying with it, but favN all too aware, sprays down the bomb. And at this point, they know where Jerry is. They know where that bomb was. They have actually just passed him entirely as he's going to go into the smoke and we're going to play Ring a Ring of Roses. But okay, timing might be here for him. Footsteps should give this away. Oh, Spinny caught looking the wrong way, but the FAMAS is able to adjust better than the MP9. And Sprout, first to double digits, keeping 4 players up as well, perhaps critically as they start to build their economy. forZe will be down onto the eco into this one as well. It's already starting to feel like it's slipping away from them.
Got a little bit awkward nearly in the end there. There wasn't like 3 seconds left as he actually died. Definitely didn't want to stay alive with the MP9. I mean, the MP9 itself, decent enough weapon. You wouldn't complain about having it in normal circumstances, but if you don't get the loss bonus coming into this round, then you're in an awkward spot going into gun round number 1. Slacks, though, pushed up. They're going to go for this double peek again in towards the alley. Not really going to be getting too much in terms of forZe going aggressive in the early stages. They've just bought up Deagles on everyone and are happy to post up on a few angles, wait and see what's going to come their way. I like the deep smoke, though, just in time from Sprout as well to ensure that for now they do completely avoid it and let Spiddy just clear things out. Double check that it's all clear and no one had already slipped up towards the ramp, and with that now, just a ton of control, really, for Sprout coming in. They've got the weapon advantage as well, alongside that. The only, I guess, kind of positive I see for forZe is the fact that they can at least get these Deagles up close and personal here on B with the players getting a bit more aggressive. And, well, we'll see what can be done now. Spiddy's going to need to hold strong. He has his teammate, obviously, up in the background as well, but he gets the majority done himself. He's going to come out with 3 Slacks with a little bit of assistance, and, well, I don't really fancy Shelfie's chances at all. He's not even going to get a shot off. That's going to be a clean round from Sprout.
Job done. Smooth sailing. Again, I can see the idea behind the Deagle, but don't mind it. Morty's been really hitting some bangers with them. Unfortunately, the crossfire a little too well established at that point. Spitty able to hold firm on the FAMAS, the A1S there to back him up when they do swing wide. 11th on the board, and forZe starting to feel like they're up against the ropes. This round, a must-win for them. 5 AKs in hand, good utility across the board, and they're going to try and take the fight to middle early on. Gary's actually managed to find a little bit of a hole between two mollies here. Won't be able to swing his way out through that mid. Smoke's there to give him a little bit of cover as they start to look at potentially this A site. First time we've really seen forZe have a look in on that side of the map. Slack's aware that he has given up snipers control, and now as they start to execute, rotations will be quick. Couple of players to make it, but that allows for the mid flank. You can see Jerry starting to make his presence known now. Just tucking in, hoping to catch a cheeky timing. Spitty making noise on this rotation. Will bait him in a little further. But they're going for the bomb plant wide out in the open. Gap in the smoke. Faven there to abuse it. And Spitty, all too aware, has got the flank on lock. Faven comes in with another before he's traded away. And again, such a promising initial position. Just falls by the wayside. Zorti left with the 1v4 to contend with. Bomb dropped absolutely in no man's land at this point, and they know where he is. They're looking for him. They're hunting him. Raz has the 12th, and Sprout continuing to dominate this CT side.
Yeah, they're the team finding early success in both of these halves. So you're going to say it's definitely making things incredibly difficult for forZe, but I mean, it'll be interesting to see now if they can get that comeback going here again, if they're able to really find success once they stabilize the economy going into the gun rounds, as they did on the CT side. Can be a little bit tougher sometimes to get going on the CT side than it would be on T side. It's, I guess, one positive we could look at here. Their economy usually easier to manage here on the offense. We are, at the moment, sitting with, I believe, another technical pause, is it? Or no, a regular timeout, actually, because we did have the counter that I missed up in the top left somehow. I'm terrible at noticing changes in things. Like, you know when a player times out at a server, it takes me way too long to cop which player it is, even if I'm fully aware of both lineups. I have to still go over it in my head. I don't instantly notice, like, which name's gone. Do you get me?
Commentator who doesn't notice change. That's an intriguing one. We'll dig into that a little bit later, though, because forZe have got their hands on a half-buy. They've got a handful of Tech 9s, a couple of Deagles, and they are going to go quickly. Immediately into the lane control. They're going to try and push the issue into Dig. Molotov comes in to try and force Spitty back, which it will. Molotov from him just a split second too late, so Kenzie at the very least does get the control in towards Jaguar. You see them already starting to plan out this B hit. All 5 players here. There's nothing else they can do. They've got the pistols. They need to get in the faces of Sprout. They're aware of it. Just waiting out that first batch of utility, and now starting to set up their own. Smokes come over the top. Key in towards, we call it the noob corner. Trying to just buy a little bit of time. You can see Spitty toying with going through that smoke. Doesn't want to commit to it, though. His own smoke on the ramp is keeping forZe quiet, and they've used all their utility now. They've got 1 smoke remaining on Kenzie. So the recommit isn't going to be great. They're going to start to queue up in towards Cave. 1 smoke maybe goes towards the short lane here, but Raz is queued up. Has the support of Spitty in towards long. Looking to set up a crossfire with Key. As he tucks himself into this corner. 45 seconds left. It's going to be the explosion, the late burst onto this B site. Can the rifles hold firm? That smoke goes over the top. Wrong lane to smoke off. 2 players in towards long. Spotted out. Key now with it all to do, and Norway immediately rips his head off. That was the kill they needed. The key to the site has been unlocked, but Spitty continuing to do work fights too. Norway finds another. Off the back of these Eagles, the youngsters getting it done. The push perfect. Slack will only get 1, however, as he's traded away, and Faven left to try and steady the ship. He's got the first. Wants to go straight through this smoke. Kenzie has managed to duck him. No way he sticks this. He's going to. He's holding on to it. He jumps off at the last second and finds the kill. By the skin on their teeth, Sprout survived the late B hit. Very nearly working out for forZe.
Damn. Yeah, no, coming right down to the wire. Good read as well that the second player was still over towards the back of the bomb site right there, because obviously the planter moved incredibly quickly over, so he was the man in the end that was there, had moved out of place, so it could have seemed like the planter was still in behind the pillar, and I think that was the hope, that he'd be able to just catch him on the cross then. But no, balls of steel from Faven. Good call as well, with the steps getting in close there in the end, but I mean, that round was kind of a must-win for forZe, if we're being honest. Obviously, now they're only coming onto the full gun round, but they had such a good chance that it really would have kind of livened their opportunities here on the T side to get going. have the opportunity, though, if they win out this one especially. And, well, Spitty just kind of charges through the smoke. He did have a flash over from Slacks, apparently, but it's not going to be enough for him to get away with anything. Instead, Slacks needs to return one, which he will be good for. But then Key ends up getting caught as he tosses out a nade, and I think it already spammed pretty much his entire mag away. So a little bit of an awkward one right there that lets forZe pretty easily take the 4-on-3, and they still have a ton of time, but they don't have a ton of map control, so they are all favored over towards this B bomb site. And an op already coming through, or an op pick rather, already coming through from Slacks is going to pressure them pretty soon to make a commitment.
Rawls now tucked in. Again, very similar position to Key in the last round, this time up against the rifles. Jerry's going to go through the smoke. Look to be a little cheeky with it. Rawls has been spotted out, but Slacks through the smoke has actually found a pick. favN now just lurking. He's actually got through into Cave. They don't expect it, and he will wreak havoc. 2 quick kills. Anything forZe do, any cheekiness in the smokes, favN will do one better. A big double from him. They just didn't expect it. Didn't know he could have transferred inside of those smokes. It's 14 on the board for Sprout. And it just goes from bad to worse again. forZe, they had the rifles, they had the commitment. It felt like a solid idea. You know, they've rushed on to B with pistols, got a plant, very nearly got around. Let's do it with rifles, but instead, it's another round going the way of Sprout. Another opportunity left by the wayside. And at this point, Sprout just 2 rounds away from taking their map pick.
Yeah, you've got to say, it's these slow starts into the halves, though, that have really hindered forZe. If they could have even got that pistol back on their CT side, rather, they could have been looking at probably 10, maybe even 11 rounds, judging on how things ended up going then towards the end, once the guns were kind of rocking for them. So it is a bit rough to see them now in a 14-7. We do at least need to remember that this is Sprout's map choice. You've got Inferno coming up next, I believe it is. I'm correct with that. And then D2, I believe, is the decider. Which, while they do look like pretty good maps as well for Sprout, are also ones that forZe are more than capable of playing. For now, though, we do need to focus back on the action. A good bit of damage actually done already in favor of Sprout once again by those early nades. And they're looking to actually aggress out of Dona here, which could be a bit of a risk. Kenzie's watching for this. They've got a player in the sniper nest as well, though, so I'd imagine a trade at least should be available. And indeed, when he hears the footsteps behind, it takes his attention back. But the advantage has gone the way of forZe, and they've managed to actually push a player in towards the A bomb site that is pulling all of these rotations away. It's left Key alone on B, where the actual bomb plant is going to be going down. He might be able to do something about it, though. Does hear the noise of it. Didn't want to give his position away too early. Spitty able to actually catch the lurker now as well. It gives him a bit of a chance in this 2-on-3. A big catch early on from Key. Hoping that there's not going to be anyone else here. Looking to actually stick that bomb. Eventually comes off it. And somehow they've gone ahead and done it on the retake. How does Sprout get away with that?
That had to be a kill from Norway. Had to take Key off as he goes for the defuse. Somehow gets away with it. Able to come off and still find the headshot. That can't be allowed to happen. Key, a one-man army, and then Spitty on the rotation, just looking far too crispy for Jerry. Nothing he could really do or say. Spitty just rips his head clean off, had the shoulder advantage. Right hand versus the left hand peak, of course. And at 15-7, map point for Sprout. This starts to look very rough indeed. forZe just not registering. I'm not even able to put a round on the board yet over on that T side. They need something here. Need a little bit of a momentum builder, because as you said, we're heading to Inferno, but it's a map that Sprout can play. It's a map they've looked damn solid on. Spitty again, perhaps a little too aggressive. Will be caught off guard. Shall be able to take him out, and now, off the back of it, they want to accelerate. Key right around his own smokes, trying to catch Jerry off guard. The timing on this is going to be everything. He's heard him, and through the smoke, Slacks, in fact, will get the kill. Key, the information translator. They're going to try and push down this ramp, though, and Zorti tucked in close could do a lot of heavy lifting. Rawls and Key inside of that smoke, but he doesn't get either. Rawls rips his head off. And again, just out of nowhere, Sprout have themselves the man advantage. It's going to be plan B for forZe. They want to back off. They want to try and split in towards this A site, but they're going to have to deal with favN.
Yeah, he's definitely not going to make it easy. For now, just in at the back of Temple, taking things pretty passively, not wanting to really give anything away in the early moments. He wants an early warning system where he can just go ahead and confirm that they're coming through. Although he's not even going to be taking that angle. Instead, he wants to completely catch them off guard, spotting out the shoulder. It's a very tight angle when he starts to spray. And unfortunately, falls just short of the kill, leaving Norvi on 3 health. They're going to be able to get this bomb plant down. They've got the 3-on-3. And well, it looks like it might even go in their favor. Okay, kenzie actually does win that one out against Ralds. There we go, a 3-on-2. Slacks has got the health to work with, but he's on the up. A missed shot could cost him his life either way. The no-scope not going to land. The follow-up, though, actually will. How does he get away with that? The 3 health, I think, for Norvi there works against him. He was a little bit too timid in trying to actually hunt that kill down. And now it's all on kenzie. He's got the first, he's got the bomb planted for him, and he should just have the head for himself. As Key decides that the stick is what he needs, and unfortunately in the end it's not the way to go. I think he was just willing to take a little bit of a risk right there, hoping to end it on the straight up stick, since they do have quite a bit of wiggle room, I suppose, here with the scoreline. With a team like forZe, though, that wiggle room can definitely evaporate pretty quickly. We know they're a very, very capable team. So while it's still very early days here, that first round here to at least give forZe a bit of chance, it could be the start of something special. We'll have to see. If they win out this round, 10 then likely to come off the back of it. And that's when I start believing that maybe the overtime is possible.
Ever the dreamer is D. In reality, forZe have got 2 MAC-10s and a Galil even coming into this round. As a result, having to go quickly. They do manage to get themselves the early control in towards Lamps. Start to push the issue into the cave. Not much presence here for the CT side either. Normally you'll see the 3-man stack. They've opted for the 2-1-2 on this occasion, Sprout, and it's left them a little bit vulnerable. Allowed forZe to gain this early map control, as now they do squirrel that rotation in. Hot flashes, execute starts to line up. They're just trying to bait the utility out though, not going to commit just yet. Sprout, they're not biting. They're going to go for a little bit of a retake into the cave. Key with the HE, they'll follow in as 2. Jerry tucks into the corner, does manage to find 1. Quickly traded though. And again, that smoke from the falling HE has done well. It's given Slacks an angle and he's going to work with it. kenzie next to be spotted. Makes his way through at the very least in towards snipers. Shalfie going to try and be cheeky with it. Oh, the timing on that smoke is everything, and Shalfie gets the better of it. 3-on-3 now. Upgrades into the FAMAS, and this is chaos. Smitty is able to find 1, and that's the stabilizing kill they need. Favon in with another on that secondary AWP. Top fragging on 25, and it leaves Zorti. He's looked crispy, but has he looked good enough for this? A 1v3 on his shoulders to keep his team alive in map 1. Scoped up, doesn't want to make any noise. Favon the first to swing into him. There it is. That's the kill that opens up the site. Rotation starting to come in. Spotted out, and he hits the wallbang. Zorti in with the second. Buys him the 1v1. AWP on AWP. Slacks versus Zorti. Slacks spots him, misses it. And Zorti will take it with open arms. 9 on the board. The 1v3. forZe keep their hopes of map 1 alive. The AWP are doing all of the work for them. And well, Sprout, will they be left ruining missed opportunities?
Gotta say, pretty well played by Zorti. First peek there by Favon isn't entirely necessary. This one, though, is just nasty. I mean, look how thick that wall is. It's all concrete, it looks like, in fairness, from a temple. So we'll say that's why. Poor quality. That's why the bullet went through. But either way, the first shot, I think, maybe a little bit given away. After that, though, Zorti just had to work for them. And yeah, it makes it go his way, rather, in the end with the 1-on-3. Gives a lifeline to forZe that they probably shouldn't have. I think that they're going to be very happy with right now, and it doesn't really seem like they're going to have much of a challenge here to get their 10th round either. They've walked directly in towards B. There's no one here to defend at all, and well, with just USPs here for the rest of Sprout. A couple of exits, I think, would be the way to go. Ideally, though, they need to ensure they don't feed it over to the MAC-10, and well, that's nearly what they do. In the end, Jerry's only good for the 1. He is able to get himself the single kill at least, but it doesn't seem like really anything else is going to be possible considering his health. And well, considering he didn't get the MAC-10, it gets a little bit close though for kenzie, down to 3. As is, yeah, he kind of got blocked up by, a little bit by his teammate, I think. Either way, hangs on to life. It's going to be 15-10 now, 5 rounds in the difference. If forZe can get, I mean, if they can get this gun round, rather, it's what, maybe 2 more gun rounds max before they actually get it towards that overtime. So you can see the path forward, but there's just absolutely zero room for errors. And with the level of individual play we've been getting from Sprout, it almost feels inevitable that someone will step up.
Is that a cast a curse I hear there, Dean? Just trying to sow the seeds, yeah? I hear you.
I'm being biased to Sprout in what I say, so that I'm biased to them with the casters. So I'm biased to forZe with the casters curse. It's like a double mind game. So,
I mean, forZe have looked a lot more solid. They're starting to grow into this series. You can see the individuals starting to get warm. I mean, Zorti's looked crisp since round 1, don't get me wrong, but kenzie and Norway starting to have some impact as well. Problem is, as you said, Sprout have been at it since the get-go pretty much. Spiddy has looked very, very solid. favN the same. And here we go. Back into the action. 5 map points for Sprout. 5 more opportunities to shut this door, get it done. Miles will be down onto the FAMAS on this occasion. favN actually on the AUG. No AWP available, so zorti again going to have free reign over the map. And this is where he does some of his best work. This is where he can be at his most damaging when he's not up against another AWP, allowed to just post on angles freely, and he's going to go for the early post in towards mid. Pressure coming in from Sprout, actually run boosting into the early lane control. And Normie under pressure here. He's got a lot to do. Drops himself a smoke, buys a little bit of breathing room. Spam not quite connecting through it. Oh, there it does. Down to 40 HP now. He's got to be desperately careful. You can see him cowering in and around those boxes. Raz very nearly catches the timing to spot the boost as well. It's chaos. There's control being taken by both sides, but huge nade damage coming on to Slacks and Spiddy. Leaves forZe with a little bit of an advantage early on.
Yeah, it wasn't quite even damage as to what was done to Norvi himself, but they spread it out and do a little bit more overall, just making things hopefully a bit easier now as they start to push forward. Spiddy's actually happy enough to stick around despite that damage, and that can be dangerous. Jerry's on the hunt. The body shots is all he needs. He does even take the dink, but as I said, that nade damage in the end works out brilliantly to allow them to get this opening kill. But only 50 seconds left, and well, with pretty much all of their control around this B side of the map currently, although, as I say, that Shalfie may get the opportunity to go ahead and punish that player pushing through A in a moment if he is cautious of it. On the other hand, I think he might be flanked out himself, and a good stack up in towards the lamps here between Key and Slacks is going to be very difficult for the 9 health Jerry to deal with. That means now lamps is just in general going to be something they have to worry about here. They have to push through. They can't afford to just leave it open as they go for the bomb plant. And while it will work out for an equal trade, coming down to the 2-on-2, I don't think is the position they wanted to be in.
Low HP as well onto Normie. He's going to make this fight very difficult for him. Needs to get onto a cheeky angle, and Raz is ready for it. Easy kill. Again, it's zorti. This time with bomb down, a 1v2. B-site a little harsher to get off with. Flashbang out the door. Raz not spotting him though. He's pre-firing it. Missed shot from zorti. Can the punishment come through? They know where the AWP is. They're trying to isolate him, but he still finds the 1v1. Raz, his final victim, swings into it, and it's another one. Another huge clutch for zorti. He gets forZe their 11th. You could just put this AWP into clutch situation, and he continues to deliver. Another big 1v2. They had a flashbang, couldn't use it effectively. Isolated the 1v1s beautifully. 24 kills to his name, and Sprout starting to feel like they're choking their opportunities here.
Oh yeah, no, at this point you've got to say it a little bit. It does seem to me like zorti's absolutely feeling it though. You can kind of just tell in the way he's playing, how smooth he's just kind of moving from angle to angle. He just knows what's going on right now. Everything's clicking together perfectly in his head, and he really has been the man to keep forZe in this game right now. Slacks it, a nasty shot on the Jerry. Norvi, though, 2 of them moving in through the ramp. And Spiddy's not going to be able to get anything done with his aggression either, as has been the case a few times around these lamps, if I'm being honest. He's been punished quite a bit. And now it's only favN left standing. And considering the investment he put in here towards the Kevlar and the Deagle, it might even be worthwhile just to hang on to it, if I'm being honest. I think he wants to move through and maybe see if a player comes in his direction, if he can steal away a weapon. But he has a decent amount, rather, actually, to lose as well here. Either way, though, I mean, it's 15-12. forZe have got us into a much closer scoreline than I think reasonably it should be, considering you had the initial 6-1, obviously, in favour of Sprout, and then you had them go up 14-7 then as well off the half-time before forZe got going at all. This is just getting way, way closer than it should be. And again, this is Sprout's map choice too. If they didn't have even one of these pistol rounds, you could maybe even see forZe over the finish line already.
Yeah, it's starting to feel choky. Starting to feel very choky. They will be able to have the buy. AWP in the hands of Slacks across the board. AWP, 4 AK-47s. Solid buy for forZe again to try and keep piling that pressure on. Timing is going to be everything. Looking to post up towards A early, trying to shift the direction of pressure, and Slacks actually just sitting in the molly, takes a lot of damage. Down to 70 before he's seen a single player, and the timings are really going to be everything at this point. You can see Sprout with very limited map control. Little to no idea what's going on. They've fallen off of mid, deep in towards CT. A couple of players just starting to push the issue into lamps now. As forZe start to split in towards this A site, it's looking very lonely for Fav, and a lot to do from behind Big Box. Has Slacks to help him on the cross, sure, but with the nades continuing to chip his mid support, potentially they're going to get flanked out from CT before they can say anything about it. Timing is everything, and Jerry able to capitalize for the first. Now you can see Slacks going to hold two angles at once, and he can't land either of them. It's all going forZe's way. Spiddy trying to fight the tide. Not able to get more than one, though. The save has to be called. It's 13. forZe continuing their march towards overtime.
Yeah, this is absolutely mad right now, I've got to say. Sprout are just being ran through. Spiddy obviously had a really strong start into the game, but since then on the CT side especially, he's been, not in this round necessarily, but in general, has been very aggressive. It lost him a few picks as well. It seems like he was kind of feeling himself maybe even a little bit too much, so he's definitely taken it down a notch since then. But it's just kind of some of the individuals in general have dropped off on the CT side pretty massively, and well, at the moment, they're just looking for some exit frags. Should be able to hang on, I think. I mean, Shalfie here is looking to come through and see what he can find, but it's going to be pretty difficult to get out of this area and actually get anything done. He has himself a really nice angle from the tree here. Shalfie will step around probably expecting it. We'll see whether the AK has enough of an advantage to win this one out. The health definitely won't give him the I was going to say, the advantage of the one-tap in comparison. They both had that chance. It'll be Spiddy who has to get it in the end, though, leaving them with just the one M4 to be carried over, meaning that there's really not going to be much of a buy behind it, I wouldn't imagine. We should see a 14th round likely going the way of forZe here. With the loss bonus, at least, Sprout can get some pistols, maybe a rifle or two. In the cases where they have that little bit of extra money, I think Spiddy had like 4.7k or something, so he could maybe even drop one and still have plenty then to get the full buy in the next round for himself. So they might try something along those lines just so that they have a chance within this round. But it's looking like OT is definitely doable now.
It certainly is. Sprout dropping the ball. Awkward one into this round. Fade bits and pieces. Scout in the hand of Slacks. Eagles and 5-7s around that saved 4A1S. Have to be aggressive, they know it, but the flash is so damn good. Shalfie with both the kills. Zorti on the corner at the smoke with another. This is all too familiar a tale for Sprout. Just being picked apart at the extremities. Fathom with the consolation kill, but look at them. 3 forZe players charging in to make absolutely sure that there is nothing Sprout are allowed to keep their hands on. Slacks does well to tag up one, but there's just too many targets. Not enough time. Fathom, single digits of health. Just 7 HP between him and the Craven. He's being hunted down by 3. He'll spam away one more. It's good damage, sure. Norway actually tagged up by that scout, potentially a valid target, but he will put him down. 14-15. The comeback continues from forZe, who are now just 1 round away from forcing, quite frankly, a spectacular overtime.
Yeah, it just shouldn't be doable. It's their opponent's map choice. They lost out the pistol and I believe the first gun round in both of the halves as well, and have still been able to pull it all the way up to this point. It seems like Sprout are a little bit flat when it comes to some of these gun round battles. Once they lose out a couple, they struggle to get the kind of momentum back for themselves. We'll have to see whether now they can get this final round in their last attempt in doing so. Zorte is actually going to take quite a bit of damage early on from the Molotov there, which isn't going to be ideal considering he's been the man to kind of save the day a couple of times already here for forZe. Either way, they're doubling up in towards lamps as we've seen many a times, but they're actually going to be leaving one player just tucked in, hoping for a little bit of a bait in towards this position, because we've seen Jerry a couple times trying to hunt Spiddy. So if you have Key ready, if they don't clear out that corner, it could be the perfect counter. We'll have to see though, and Molly goes in. Nope, speaking of perfect counters, it's going to force him to drop the smoke. Spiddy's still good for the 1. The nade though forces Key out of position and it gives the trade back, bringing it into the 4-on-4, and with Spiddy very low on health as well, he cannot afford to stick around.
Time is going to be everything again, not willing to make the gamble rotation. But he's got to be proactive on low HP, and he's dealt with the AWP. That's a huge kill. Zorti goes down. Slacks misses the shot, though, and again, this B hold looks so vulnerable. Nobody with any health to work with. Shalfie, a free kill onto Spiddy, and now Slacks swinging wide will be found. This goes from bad to worse. Favon had to find that kill, and he does, but the trade is immediate. Ral's required to clutch up. 1v2, catches Kenzie with utility. 30 seconds left on the clock for Norway to play with, and he's going to go back towards A. Wants to try and be cheeky with this. Timing, going to be everything. Ral's, I don't know if he hears these footsteps. He's starting to think about the possibility, and if he can catch Norway in transition, it should be a freebie. He'll hear this bomb being planted now. He's in a great position to do so. He thinks it's B. Oh, no, he's been called back. For a split second, he went the wrong way. Norway's been able to tuck himself into Temple as a result, and this timing, it's going to be everything. Rals takes the site as Norway starts to clear in towards CT. He's got a smoke. He's got the kit. He's going to put that smoke down on the bomb. Taps it once. He's trying to bait Norway out, but he has no idea. Norway's coming right where he came from, and Rals at the last second finds the adjustment. It's 16-14. It will be Sprout by the skin on their damn teeth. They just about get it over the line. It was such a hard-fought battle. That T side from forZe continued to just find its way out of absolute miracles. But Sprout, oh, they are just about able to get it over the line, dude.
Yeah, that's absolutely crazy, and it sets up what should be a pretty fantastic Inferno, obviously, coming up. But yeah, I mean, just to get it that close, to lose out both pistols, to go down 6-1, to lose out then, I think it was 6 rounds in a row on the second half as well before they started getting anything going also. It's super impressive, but it's heartbreaking. How many times have we seen a team fall just about short on the 16-14 as they're making the comeback happen? It seems to be a little bit of a jinx. You really can feel the effect of that little bit of extra pressure.